Third build. Are you guys ready for the semifinals match?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Get it on!
All right, semifinals, match 1, Dragon Ball Legends Special Pick Tournament, Sky versus KUROOTOKI.
Each got Perfect Cell and Gamma on the leader slot. That's pretty... I didn't see that coming, actually.
Yeah, interesting choice there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a last-minute check of abilities.
I don't blame him.
I saw that
That
regeneration.
really can transform, too.
Oh.
So that's technically, another character is worth the look through.
Goes with Jacket Vegeta.
And not the Ultra.
And not the UL. Again, no intro.
I'm gonna look it up on YouTube too. Like
Look it up, man. Let me see
I
all
saw it, man. I swear.
all the Dragon Ball Legends intros, man. Let
Oh,
me
the
see it.
Bergamo and the Nova Shenron. That is pretty cool.
Interesting team there from Sky.
Try not to bore me, will you?
Here we go.
Think you can entertain me?
Oh, nice point there.
Okay.
He knows.
Not much damage out here, but still a cool combo.
Oh, there comes the block.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
That is...
block, you called it.
Yes.
Give me those key blasts. I just want to absorb them.
That is buff.
Brings up Nova with the color advantage.
He's got quite a bit of... Oh, boy. Had to
Oh,
do that
he knows
switch.
what's coming. That menacing
See
stance.
this one?
Oh! Flash.
Oh, baby.
Super move.
That's a little low.
20. I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I knew he waited it.
That's it.
He waited for it.
Are you?
Is in control right now.
That
Super Broly.
damage.
Yeah, the cover change there, getting Broly into tanks. Smart choice. It seems like, but
Oh!
look at the damage. Maybe not a smart choice.
Painful.
Critical. It's Broly. You don't care.
Transforming it. That Bergamo's tankiness just helping him out immensely.
I definitely want to see this Bergamo just do the flexing and do the T-pose.
Yeah, Bergamo has the ultimate move as well. It's actually better for him to use it while he still has 3 characters on the field.
Interesting.
Waiting for the advantage. Ooh, caught him.
Another both looking unbelievable timing from both of these guys.
Yeah, that,
Oh, like about the same level again from Sky.
that was almost a bandage punish too, and it turned into a clash.
Oh my goodness, Cell's in big trouble here.
And he cannot switch. There goes Perfect Cell.
Wow.
Oh, the red coloring is definitely painful.
Holy damage.
One more strike cord. There it is. You get these guys.
barely
No, he's not.
enough.
Got him.
Oh, but that actually helped out for him.
Yeah, he's going to do that rising rush just to put this Gamma 2 on life support.
Oh, that might be painful for KUROOTOKI because Gamma 2 has been dishing out a lot of damage. Yeah, you're not moving that. Oh, he's got the cut right.
Saving grace.
Very lucky there. Time for EC
Chill out,
situation.
Oh, that was a tap attack.
Oh my.
What a pain! What a pain!
Back to the key, trying to dash it, doesn't get it.
Rising rush.
Oh, this is huge.
Even if this doesn't finish him
Look at
off,
the damage though.
that
Like,
is
he's
a
gone.
lot of damage.
No way.
How's he
No
going?
way.
No, like, no possible way. No shot.
That was an amazing match.
Sky takes it.
KUROOTOKI.
Was it KUROOTOKI? Oh, KUROOTOKI took it?
Yep.
It's KUROOTOKI took that.
KUROOTOKI looking impressive here as he has been throughout the entire tournament so far. Nice effort from Sky though. I mean, it started off pretty good in Sky's favor.
You know, I think it was mainly that I don't think nobody saw Gamma 2 dealing that much damage coming.
Right.
So I look at those color balances, right? I look at the color counter picks, and I'm like, hey, how much of the damage buff exists here, right? Because we're taking into a lot of factors here. We're talking about just general HP, characters already existing damage output, and you multiply it all together. I did not come up with that equation. I did not come up with that answer. That was just so tremendous.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And he did have the transformation Broly coming in, but just couldn't make it. Rising Rush, it was pretty interesting to see both players manage to read each other's hands.
No, that
Really
was
rarely see that coming.
Yeah, that was really a crazy match. I mean, it was really hectic too. Like
Oh, yeah.
at moments, I felt like Sky was pulling through, but you know, I think he lost every single one of the clashes.
Yes.
Right. So that was a little painful. Right. The Rising Rush, the callouts, the baits. You know, just things that were major moments just did not go his way. So KUROOTOKI advancing to the finals. Congratulations to KUROOTOKI for that one. One step away from claiming the trophy.
One step away from claiming that trophy, man. That one right there, I don't know if they've shown a shot of it yet, but it's been sitting there all weekend. It's a thing of beauty. We've been talking about how we would like that in our pantry, along with our other trophies.
Gotta put it somewhere.
Gotta put it somewhere, man. Too many trophies in the living room already. My wife would be upset if I brought home another one. But for somebody here tonight, it could be their first or it could be their 58th.
You never know.
Never know. None whatsoever, man. But amazing match, amazing match. Once again, showing sometimes it's about how you play the game, not necessarily about the deck building.
Must have been painful to drop Cell before he was even able to use his ultimate move.
And yeah, that was the sad part too, right? Because we saw the Cell come out and like, all right, the Cell's Legends Limited is going to be a good character, but he just continually ate damage, right? Cell never really got anything started for him, so he didn't really get an opportunity to really maximize on using that Legends Limited character.
And I'm genuinely glad to see Bergamo's counter fitted into that.
That was
division.
sick. Right after we talked
Once
about it, the
that
first
came
thing
out,
he
bro.
had too,
Yes.
it's like, watch this, immediately, boom.
Oh, like I was thinking like maybe like it's a timing thing, but no, he just did it and I'm like, you can't advance.
It was very natural.
Woo! I'm telling you, man. Now KUROOTOKI gonna move on, and he's looking strong.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, when I looked at the bracket, I was like, man, he has been the most impressive guy we've seen so far. I expect him to make it to the finals. But you know, we never know in this format what's going to happen, right? It's best of one situation. He's got the special pick rule. You never know what characters they're going to get, etc. You know, we saw earlier Steve-O, who looked really strong yesterday when he had the freezes, but came out here today, didn't get the freezes, and then now he's out of the tournament.
Had
right?
a fighting chance nonetheless, though, and yeah, just
Of
couldn't
course,
get close to
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So in this situation, you know, KUROOTOKI, of course, advancing to the finals, but you know, he's still going to have a hard match upcoming against the next opponents. Plus, on top of that, special pick rule is going to be in place, so you never know.
You got so many layers.
And I'm seeing like I'm seeing the luck pay off on that special pick rule. Like we had an Ultra Vegeta there for a second. Didn't even get a chance to see him. And I'm like, man, I wonder if that might have been the tie turner there.
Yeah, he had all those Saiyans, right? Like the team had like 4 or 5 Saiyans on it. Didn't really seem to matter.
What would you have done, Toshi? Is the Ultra going in automatically?
I'll be honest, I don't know, but most likely the pick that came out is what I would have aimed for. Not because of the abilities, but because of the characters that I'm familiar with as well, because I've used those individual characters that came up. Because I'll be honest, even if I read the abilities, I need to use it multiple times to fully understand what's going on.
That's muscle memory, baby.
Yeah.
You sometimes got that ability that just activates instantly, and then there's others that take a bit of time or special requirements to fully utilize, and like those quirkiness, you got to use it on your own to actually find out whether it's useful or not.
Yeah, most certainly, man. Whew.
Yeah, in that sense, again, I tell this to the team constantly, but like really kudos to a balanced team, because the number of characters that we have available in the combinations, and sometimes the unintentional broken things that can happen.
Yeah.
I will be honest, like when it does release, there's all sorts of different opinions, obviously, on the character, whether it's good or bad. But sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we just, launched it at the first state without testing.
Just throw caution into the wind and like, all right, you guys make something out of
This
this.
is good. See the house burning.
I feel like that's always the case anyway, though. Like, you do your best, but then once it's out there in the wild, you're just kind of like, well, now we see what's going to really happen, right? But
Exactly.
obviously, you guys have a very strong testing team, and the balance has been pretty decent the whole way through. But the interesting thing to me here is, like, thinking about what we've seen so far in this tournament, right? Like, nothing has really stuck out as being, like, completely busted, right? This seems to always be an answer, and especially in this format, right, where you have 3 members of your battle party, essentially, and the 6-man party in total. It doesn't really affect it as much. Like, we've seen maybe today, at least, the 17 came out really strong, the Legend Limited one, right? But I don't think there's been anyone else that's really stood out to me as like an individual character that's like, all right, this one's definitely carrying.
I mean, there was that. We saw the Super 7. We saw the 17.
Oh,
And the
Super
Vegeta.
17's paralysis was very annoying.
Vegeta, yeah.
That was
Vegeta,
Paralysis
that
seems like something you got to
That
look at.
double L Vegeta came out there and
Yes.
just started cooking.
the unique thing about those green cards with the AoE. You can't stop time with it, meaning if you want characters who, you want kind of time to gauge what the opponent is doing to see if they're stepping sideways or doing an attack at the same time, those AoE cards are bad for that because, you know, you could just be like flashing for the field and then immediately after getting pummeled in the face. You know?
Right. I noticed that because like if he went back to neutral, then it's actually one of those wait and see cards. But if it's actually tied to an attack, then you are now committing to that explosion.
Yes, exactly. So there's a drawback for everything, and
Right.
we'd like to think that balance is pretty, you know, nice to have.
I think I agree.
We've
with that.
also, originally speaking, you know, when you had commented for the event a few years ago, we still didn't have like those quick attacks where
I noticed
you
that, yeah.
instantly dive, teleport in front of the enemy, and uppercut the enemy. You know,
Yeah.
that is pretty crazy that we've never had before. It was also, you know, a thing to just throw off players to see to add another thing to the equation. At the same time, you know, I've seen players who like actually dealt like half the damage with that uppercut. And just toy with certain
Just
opponents.
one good decision, huh? Sometimes it'd be like that though, right?
I don't blame him.
No, I would do the same thing. Shoot. You give me the option, right?
Of course. Gotta do what you gotta do to win, basically.
That's what we're
And
here
as
for.
we speak, even in the background, our team is constantly trying to figure out new ways to play around. We even got game modes where we tweaked the battle rules slightly more different from that of normal, where you can only use the battle Rising Rush in a certain manner, or like you can only bring in certain characters, or you have a boost to certain combinations and such. So hopefully you'll see more variety of that in the future.
We're about to see some more variety coming up next because we got another semifinals match on the way, guys.
All right.
Boy, last semifinals match.
Last semifinals match of this top 8 bracket. First up, gentlemen, Cheeseman.
He's got the bow tie. He's ready to go.
Best dressed man in the building. And this guy absolutely putting on a tremendous performance. We talked about KUROOTOKI, but this is another well performer, solid player, great user of various decks, whatnot, whatever. He does it all.
Exactly.
And there's not enough nice things you can say about this guy.
Yeah, fundamentals as far as combos go, it looks like it's on point. He understands the game inside out.
Another veteran that's been playing since the early days of Dragon Ball Legends. Really appreciate that on a personal note as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? And he's going to be going up against Kid Joe YT.
Oh boy, we just saw Kid Joe a second ago too. Back to
We
the
did.
stage.
Feels like it's going pretty fast, man. These guys, these matches, going like real Dragon Ball fights in a way, right? You think about
Exactly.
like, yeah, and when we're watching the show, like, they seem kind of long, but in real time, in the show, they're like in a matter of seconds. These guys are moving so fast, and Kid Joe YT definitely in the conversation of that, the reactions, the ability to adapt to situations so quickly. Brilliant player.
Oh man, of course this matchup though, to see who makes it into the finals later. Oh man, pressure is on.
Pressure is on, and now the most important special pick of the day for these gentlemen. Get to your positions.
Exactly. Oh boy.
This is where the fun begins.
You know, you could actually just end the competition at this point, you know?
It's like, I'm satisfied now.
Dude, like imagine like that's the mode that you add to like, you know, your Dragon Ball Legends. Like, okay, did you get the right characters that you wanted? Character roulette.
I guess I'm out.
Well, that was fun.
Thanks for having me, guys. No, but like it's really good to show. I mean, we've been talking about it all day. It's really cool to see how this volatile system that you've created for these guys to play within has turned out some of the most intense matches I've ever seen for this game. You know? When you guys asked me to do this, I'm like, okay, I got to watch how high-level PvP works, and all it is like Beast Gohan and alt hit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even think in my head what it would look like at like, you know, another level with
Right.
different characters, and I'm like, dude, this is such a rich game.
Thank you.
Yeah, so many options, so many combinations of characters and team synergies
Yeah.
and that.
I'm pretty sure those guys are pretty high up there in the ranks as
Oh,
well.
for sure.
Oh, I'm
We'd
sure.
like to think that this experience is kind of throwing them off as well, because
That's the hope.
you know, lately there's been a boost in character abilities. There's a lot of characters that has pretty fast draw speed, so you see a lot of cards coming in.
Yes.
You constantly have that key, so long combos. And then right now in this environment, you have those OG characters where it wasn't as crazy back then. So basically, you're used to having like 10 combos, and then suddenly it ends at 3 or 4. You're like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, it's done. Card's over. Now it's back to neutral game.
Right.
So you have to think about what the next move is a lot more frequently, you know?
Yes.
Interesting. Is that something you think about, like, as a producer, where you're like, we kind of want the game to head back to this direction more?
So we have like an underlying theme constantly. It's not just like one word, but we'll look at how players are feeling or how many, like the win rate as well. And we kind of just look at it from multiple angles at the same time. And then finally, we kind of have interviews with testers and players and internally look at it. And whether it's just simply fun or not, you know? Because at the end of the day, if it's fun, crazy's good.
Yeah.
But if it ends up being that the negative is larger, then we have to slightly tweak it or replace it with something entirely different.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, in any game, it's fun to have long combos sometimes, right? So you're like, if this is the opportunity to do it in the game, then
Oh, baby.
I want
At the
it.
same time, you got to remember that we have the victims, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are some victims. I feel like, from what you described at least, that's usually at like the highest levels of the
Yes.
game. And usually at the highest levels of the game, it's like the smallest number of victims
Yep.
of players, right? But also maybe the most passionate and vocal. So, you know, you gotta...
So we have a lot of different ways to look at it. Exactly as you mentioned, we have those top tier players, and then we have those middle tiers, and the new players. So we have to provide for different values for each different players.
Right.
Well, I think it's that time, Rip.
All right.
Oh, is it the time? It's time for the special pick. Here we go.
Here we go, guys.
Ooh, some familiar characters up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if you guys had some kind of rotation, you know, because Super Saiyan God, Goku, Metal Cooler, Bardock, we see these guys quite a bit out here.
This is just a pen in my hand. It's just a pen.
It's just a pen.
Another perfect
Digital
cell.
stylus is
Oh,
pointing.
Kid
Immediately
Buu.
goes to the Kid Buu.
Oh man, those are some really fast choice making.
All right, we got a Z Gogeta. He gives himself the Super Boot. Oh, they're going in, man.
Yeah, this is quick.
I think they're still trying to figure out what color wheel they need to add or what synergy works most for their party before picking, their opponent's card. So
You think in the case where like no character immediately stands out to them upon first look, they start thinking about maybe the color balance instead?
I think that happens occasionally, but as of now, each of the individual character power can kind of cover for it. So you don't need to fully cover the wheel. You can't even do that anyway because you only have 3 characters.
Right. And we got Chi-Chi in the mix this time around, too.
Oh my.
Oh, baby. That is one menacing looking Topo.
Exactly. God of Destruction version.
Yeah, he was like, yep, I like that art too.
Oh, man. They
Funny
squared
story
away
about
real quick.
Chi-Chi. She deals immensely more damage towards Sun Family characters.
I was just about to guess that too. Like. All right, there we have it. The final team set up for semifinals. Looking pretty diverse.
Oh, yeah.
Very diverse in terms of tags and also relatively new characters in there as well.
Yeah, I don't
So
think we've seen a Super Boo yet at all.
the Kid Buu is probably going to be crazy as well because lots of evading. He has a lot of vanish gauge recovery. So
Yeah, just look at the color wheel stuff here. You see a lot of green characters on the side of the blue team, and a couple of blue characters on the side of the red team, but also a lot of red characters on the side of the red team.
yeah, you got to be careful though because sometimes yes, those individual characters are strong, but in terms of synergy, like for example, Cooler is a lot better as a strike attacker as opposed to the red Buu or the full power Frieza being a bit more slanted towards blast attacks and such. So you can't just just add it randomly and just hope that it works.
Right.
Because it might end up that both of those have been gimped if you don't be careful. You gotta make sure you focus on one as much as possible.
Let's say you just rebuilt my whole strategy. Just mix it in and hope it works. Jeez.
Yeah.
It got me this far.
I'll be honest. That's usually my plan. I like this character.
That's what I do.
No, this is going to be a good one. Both of these guys had some incredible matches, not only earlier on a top 8, but yesterday as well. I got to say, man, there's always a different layer to enjoying a game that comes out during competition.
Exactly.
You tie this game, the gameplay, the characters to a specific player, suddenly it takes on a personality all its own that, that's why you do this, right? This is exactly why you do this. It is expanding the realm of possibilities here.
I love seeing everybody being creative. I love seeing like the moments of highs and lows at the same time. I love both situations, you know.
Yeah, no, this is
Because it provides for the people that's won, it provides for their just like that instant gratification, and for the people that lost, I see this a lot, but in our game where people are like, no, we're doing this one more time.
I gotta imagine as someone that that created this, in your head you're like, man, it'd be cool if like they really went hard on this game, right? If they really went super into this, and then you come here and you're watching, you're like, yeah, I'm a fan of this too.
I think that's what helps, myself included with the rest of the team, that we're not just like emotionally attached to it just because we made it, but genuinely because we are actually players ourselves
Yes.
as well. I'll be honest, we won't. I definitely can't represent like the new players or like the relatively intermediate players because I don't know their feelings anymore.
Oh well, true.
Yeah,
As
but
long-
on the other hand, I do like to think I kind of can relate to many of the higher tier players or the people that are more heated up, and we'd like to provide for those players as well. And at the end of the day, I think that is what keeps us in the game.
Hey man, 70 million worldwide can't be that bad, right?
Yeah, I feel like once you have a tournament like this too, like people like see that, they kind of raises their interest level a bit, right? Because
Yeah.
I can tell you last night on the shuttle ride home, I had the Legends players, and then the other guys behind were like super players, and then they were looking at it like, hey, so how do you play this? How does this work? Like, so you guys have a term for this? Like,
Yeah.
how do I? So I saw the interest immediately just from seeing them and see those players interact with one another, and it's always exciting when you have a player base as large as you guys do. I feel like events like this can only benefit them.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that too, because we cater to like a pretty wide audience. It's not just PvP players.
Of course.
There's a lot. In fact, technically speaking, the majority of the players genuinely enjoy playing story and the PvE modes more than they do the PvP modes.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And to a sense, obviously, I don't blame them because
Yeah.
it is pretty intense up there.
Oh yeah, I feel like any game, any fighting game specifically too, when it's a 1v1 experience, when you lose, it's your fault. And you're like,
Yeah.
man, that was all on me, right?
Yes.
Bro,
And,
like,
and some people think it's like too much to take in, basically. It's like, let me just play the story and have a good time with it.
just
Exactly.
playing at home by myself, my heart rate just starts getting up as soon as I get to like the character match screen, and I'm like, oh man, there's another human on the other side of this game. What's he thinking?
Exactly.
Does he know I'm sweating too?
And it's so interesting too. Like, people, they actually feel pressure for playing online against another human, just knowing it's another human, they get nervous. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, really. That's what I was talking about earlier, when you like move up to an opponent's face just to see how they respond. Like, for some people, that's so nerve-wracking. They don't even
Yes.
want to experience that.
I understand.
Cool.
To a certain degree, I get it. I understand that. Because sometimes I'm about to throw my phone onto the wall just because I lost like 5 times in a row.
I was gonna say, like, usually I don't mind losing, but if it's online, I'm like, what is this guy thinking of me right now?
It's pretty funny. Like, internally as well, we talk about that sometimes, how we say, yeah, sometimes we get to the point where we're so stressed, like, God darn it, who did this? Like, oh yeah, we did.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to get into the final match of the semifinals. Let's get it on!
Let's do this.
Game on. Final semifinals matchup. Here we go. Gentleman Cheeseman versus Kid Joe YT. Gentleman Cheeseman in the red, Kid Joe YT on the blue. And your perspective, of course, is going to be the red side for Gentleman Cheeseman.
Oh man, both of these guys got to be feeling like $1 million right now. Very nervous, sweaty $1 million, but
Yeah.
they definitely earned their place here. But only one can take it.
Yep. Making last-minute checks.
And we saw him do this last time as well, right? Double checking, making sure he's got what he wants.
This is why we allow players to do this. This is why you have the time window.
I'll tell you this much, sometimes you read a bunch of stuff and you might forget like one piece of information you read earlier.
Yep.
You conflate it with something else. So that last minute check definitely saves you from messing that up.
Exactly. Lots of villains up in here, and really
Villain
like
battle.
that. Personal fan of that.
I won't die soon.
Full power
Prepare
freezer there.
yourself.
Ooh, they're both. Oh, and it's connected.
Tomo, though.
Pretty big damage.
Get out of here. Let me take the damage.
He was like, bro, you are leaking right now.
Boo versus Boo here.
Go on,
What this
Cards.
Duan does, man. First time we're seeing
Oh, the
this.
combo connected. And the blast is coming in.
With second charge.
I love those sidestep combos.
Those are cool, right? Yeah.
So this Goku is pretty annoying to deal with because he's a nice support character to have just on its own, and even when taken down, he still supports his party.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's one of those characters where you don't mind if he goes down.
Get a buff from him down. Okay.
Oh my, Goku is hitting this very well, probably because of the element as well. But
Oh, beautiful charge step combo.
exactly.
Give me another one.
Oh,
Rising Rush. Don't
Another
get the
one?
charge.
Bro, the damage off his Buhan combo, though. Into the Rising Rush.
Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah.
I do not want
No,
to
no, no. And you take him down. It's like, I don't mind losing him, but maybe you do.
Oh, he's not just yet, buddy.
not enough. You gotta be careful though. One tap attack and he's gone.
Hold him out. He's like, hold on a second. I'll say that for later.
He's still trying to read the situation.
Not a bad decision.
Beautiful
sometimes,
vanish,
you know?
yeah. Oh. Yeah, he already had used that vanish, too.
That hurt.
And the character switch wasn't fast enough.
Oh, look at all those blast cards.
Got a destruction topo here to add some extra damage here to the metal cooler.
We're probably gonna clean up Railway with this.
Is that gonna do it? Jeez.
Oh my
Whoa.
Thought it was done. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
I
it's
was
done.
thinking, like he's gonna do it, man.
Now we fight.
Oh. Yo, the stare down.
Oh, baby. Kid Joe YT on the attack. Stomach, blood, and water, possibly.
I think it's not gonna deal that much damage, but we'll see.
That's so sick.
That was funny.
Oh, no, that was more than enough.
Bro.
Oh, what a...
Yo, Kid Joe YT chilling right now. Feeling comfy out here.
Dreams of making it beyond semifinals is going up in flames.
Wow. Wow.
And Kid Joe YT.
Amazing.
What was that damage, man?
Yeah, no, that was a lot more than I thought it would
That,
do.
yo, gee. If it's more than you thought it was going to be, I'm like, I had no chance of predicting that. Congratulations, though.
Yeah, congratulations. Kid Joe YT from the blue side getting the dub, making it into our finals here. Unbelievable stuff.
Bro, you just ever got melted like